Hey there, welcome back to the channel where we dig into the world's most enduring mysteries, always with both eyes open and a curiosity that never quits. Today we're not just sailing, we're venturing into one of the most legendary places on the map, a stretch of sea that sparked stories for decades, the Bermuda Triangle. Let's get right into it. So imagine this, a place on Earth where ships and planes vanish without a trace, where compasses spin like they're possessed. Sounds like something out of science fiction or one of those old pulpy thrillers, right? But this stretch of ocean, roughly marked out between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, is very real. And for as long as people have been crossing it, weird stuff has happened. Some call it cursed. Others claim it's the site of secret government experiments. But the deeper you look, the more the truth seems both stranger and more down to earth than anything Hollywood could write. Let's jump right into the legend first because, honestly, the Bermuda Triangle has all the best elements of a ghost story. Long before GPS or satellites, sailors told tales of haunted waters. There were stories of dense fogs, eerie lights skimming the surface, ships sailing in and never re-emerging. The real takeoff for the legend happened in December of 1945. That's when Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy bombers, vanished on a training run. The weather was good, the pilots were experienced. Then radio contact went weird. The last messages are full of uncertainty. Compass is not working, pilots confused about their locations, and then, just like that, silence. Rescue planes were launched. One of them disappeared too. 14 men gone in the bombers, 13 more on the rescue crew. No trace has ever turned up. Flight 19 is just the most famous case. There's the USS Cyclops, a massive naval ship that sailed into the Triangle in 1918 with over 300 people on board and never made it to its destination. There was no distress call, no wreckage, just nothing. The Carroll A. Deering, a huge schooner, was found aground near Cape Hatteras in 1921, completely abandoned. The crew simply vanished, with dinner still on the table. And here's a fun fact. Even Christopher Columbus wrote about his compass going haywire and seeing mysterious lights as he sailed these waters. So what on earth, or water, could possibly explain all this? That's where the theories really kick into high gear. Some suggest it's a portal to another dimension, or the watery gateway to Atlantis. Others say aliens or sea monsters are to blame. The most far-out stories talk about ghost ships showing up decades later, meals half-eaten, clocks frozen at the exact moment the crew disappeared. It's wild stuff. But now let's pull that lens back to reality and look at what science actually says about the Bermuda Triangle. First of all, here's a twist. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the folks who track ocean stuff for a living, will tell you the Bermuda Triangle isn't statistically more dangerous than any other heavily traveled part of the world's oceans. Thousands of ships and planes pass through every single week. Statistically, you're no more likely to vanish there than anywhere else. It just gets more attention because of its reputation. Still, that doesn't mean the waters are calm or uneventful. There are a few solid, science-backed reasons for the Triangle's strange stories. One of the biggest is weather. The region is a hotspot for fast-moving storms, waterspouts, and even rogue waves. These can reach up to 100 feet and appear out of nowhere, easily powerful enough to sink large ships and toss planes into the sea. There's also the Gulf Stream, which runs right through the Triangle. This strong ocean current is basically a conveyor belt, moving debris quickly and sometimes hundreds of miles from where something went down. Wreckage is often swept away or sinks in extremely deep waters, making it nearly impossible to find. Another theory that gets a lot of attention is methane hydrate eruptions. Basically, there are pockets of gas trapped under the seabed. If these gases are suddenly released, the water above them becomes much less dense. If a ship happens to be right above one when it happens, down it goes, fast, with barely a chance for a mayday call. On rare occasions, these eruptions could potentially explain the sudden disappearances with little evidence left behind. There's also the question of magnetic anomalies. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the few places on Earth where compasses may point to true north instead of magnetic north, causing navigational errors, especially in the days before GPS. That, combined with the area's unpredictable weather, is a recipe for disaster if you're not prepared. Take Flight 19, for example. Later investigations showed the lead pilot likely mistook one set of islands for another. He thought he was over the Florida Keys when really he was over the Bahamas. As fuel ran out and confusion set in, the planes likely crashed hundreds of miles off course into the Atlantic, where the search area was just too vast. It's not as supernatural as the stories, but still just as chilling if you ask me. Even with the science, the Bermuda Triangle keeps pulling people in. Maybe that's because so many disappearances really do remain unsolved. Sometimes the crew is never found, not even a life jacket or piece of debris. Sometimes abandoned ships are found with coffee still warm in the pot, as if everyone just stepped away for a moment. Those details stick in the mind, don't they? They haunt us because they remind us of how little control we have out on the endless water, and how vast and mysterious the oceans still are. At the end of the day, the Bermuda Triangle is a blend, part myth, part science, part the wild unpredictability of nature and human imagination. It's a story that's grown because we're drawn to mysteries, and let's be honest, because unsolved vanishings make for incredible stories. Our minds reach for answers, sometimes rational, sometimes magical. So here's what I find fascinating. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle is almost like a mirror. It reflects our fears, our fascination with the unknown, and our hope that even the most baffling mysteries may someday have an explanation. Scientists haven't closed the case for good. There are still unsolved disappearances, wild weather, and that deep, gripping feeling you get if you ever find yourself sailing through those waters, not sure what's lurking just beneath the surface. If you ask me, the Bermuda Triangle's real power isn't about aliens, Atlantis, or even methane bubbles. It's about the way a mystery can stick with us, how it brings together science, legend, and our endless sense of wonder. Thanks for sailing with me today into one of the ocean's greatest puzzles. Wherever you are, maybe take one last look at the horizon and remember, not all questions need answers, and sometimes the journey into the unknown is the best story there is.